I'm looking at the December 7th edition of Raw. The first match of the night is Carlito and Primo taking on Jack Swagger and Sheamus. This is back and forth until Miz comes out and tries to interfere while the ref isn't looking. The host comes out and stops the match and says that since Miz wants to take an active part in the match, he's making him the guest referee. He motions for an official to take a striped shirt down to Miz and for the other referee to get out of the ring. Miz makes it apparent that he doesn't favor Swagger or Sheamus and is willing to allow a lot of leeway for the Colognes. The End sees the Colognes pull out the victory with obvious help from Miz. After the match, Miz gets on the mic and amid boos from the audience and talks about how he misses one show and finds out about the TLC match but has no say about it. He thinks that's grossly unfair and refuses to participate in the match. Evan Bourne comes out to the stage and calls Miz a coward for not being willing to put the title on the line. He mocks Miz and says the loss to Morrison 2 weeks ago really must have gotten under his skin, and now he's afraid he'll lose the title. Miz, in the burst of rage, says, "Fine, I'll be in the TLC match at the pay-per-view, and I'll prove I'm a champion when I pin you, and only you, Evan." The next match is MVP taking on Tyson Kidd. A nice back-and-forth 10-minute match that sees MVP pick up the win after Tyson makes a rookie mistake, allowing him to gain the upper hand. John Cena, Kofi Kingston, and Ted DiBiase are backstage talking when Big Show, Randy Orton, and Cody Rhodes come walking up. Big Show makes a motion at Cena's belt, saying that it's going to be his soon. Things start to escalate, but before it can go too far, the host and a bunch of officials get between them. He says he sees they all want to fight and therefore they can all face each other in a 6-man tag match at TLC. In the meantime tonight, they can get ready because Kofi and Ted are taking on Randy and Cody, while Big Show's going to face Cena in a non-title match. Big Show tries to insist that it should be a title match, but the host remains adamant. Up next, Melina defends her Divas title against Maurice. This is a decent 10-minute match that sees the crowd shocked when Maurice gets the pin by putting her feet up on the ropes and cheating to win. Maurice celebrates when she's handed the title, but not for long because Melina goes to attack her. But lucky for Maurice, the ref heads Melina off and Maurice rolls out of the ring. Backstage, Shawn Michaels is stalking back and forth with Hunter trying to keep him calm. Hunter doesn't understand why Shawn is acting like this all of a sudden. Shawn stops and yells about being shown up by some B-rated wrestlers that come to their show and attack him for no reason, and then there's no repercussions. Before he can go further, the host comes in and says how much of a big fan he is of DX. Shawn seems aloof, but Hunter shakes hands with the host. He says that Shawn has gotten a Raw deal the past few weeks, and he wants to make it up to him. He says he can't stop the HBK Henry match from happening tonight, or lifting DX's ban completely from TLC, but he can change it a bit. He offers a stipulation concerning the pay-per-view. If Shawn loses tonight, nothing's changed. DX is banned from TLC. But if Shawn wins, DX won't be banned, and as a matter of fact, will be included in the tag team title match. This perks up Shawn, and he finally comes alive and shakes the host's hand. Hunter is also all smiles and puts his arm around the host, thanking him. The next match is Kofi Kingston and Ted DiBiase taking on Randy Orton and Kofi Rhodes. This is a good 15-minute match. Orton ultimately gets the pin on Ted after a vicious-looking boot to the head. Jack Swagger and Sheamus are in the back, arguing over whose fault it is for their loss earlier. Of course they blame each other. Sheamus says since they've teamed up, Swagger has done nothing but hold him down. Swagger says he's held up his end, and he's not the one who's gotten pinned by the Colognes each time they face them. This causes Sheamus to get in Swagger's face. Maybe it's time we parted ways then, and see who comes out on top at TLC. Swagger agrees and says he'll see Sheamus at TLC. The next match is Shawn Michaels versus Mark Henry. Triple H is at ringside. Mark fights hard to keep Shawn from getting the victory. He obviously doesn't want DX in this title match. He even tries some underhanded tactics, but Shawn keeps bouncing back. Ultimately, though, Mark can't keep up with an HBK on a mission to win the match. The crowd is mixed when Shawn gets the pin. Some are happy that DX will be at TLC, but others are obviously pissed that DX have unfairly found their way into the tag team title match again via the host, and just boo them. Hunter gets into the ring and pats Shawn on the back, but HBK seems transfixed, looking at a downed Mark Henry. Backstage, Big Show walks up to the host and says he should really consider making the match against Cena a title match, especially after giving DX such an incentive to win. The host says that he did that for DX because HBK has been mistreated lately and he likes them, whereas Big Show has been dominant the past couple weeks, and then gives another reason: personally, I don't like you. Big Show starts to advance, but the host says, you can beat me up if you like. Of course, if you touch me, you can kiss the match tonight, or a title match ever, goodbye. I'll make sure you never get a title match, and you're forced to be a curtain jerker for the rest of your career. Big Show holds his huge finger to the host and says that he's lucky he's hosting for one night only, and then walks away. Finally, we come to the main event, Big Show taking on John Cena in a non-title match. Big Show is upset over his treatment by the host and takes it all out on John at the beginning. He continues to dominate Cena, but the end sees Cena pick up the win to a cheering audience. Michael Cole and Jerry Lawler say they can't wait for TLC in 6 days. Now I'm looking at December 8th edition of ECW. Shelton Benjamin is interviewed backstage and says that he's going into TLC ready to fight and win. Christian comes by and congratulates Shelton. Then he mentions that he needs a partner tonight against Ryder and Archer, and says he knows Shelton's got the title on his mind, but would he consider teaming up with Christian tonight? Benjamin says he's never too busy to be Christian's partner and agrees. The first match of the night is Tommy Dreamer and the Hurricane taking on Vladimir Kozlov and Ezekiel Jackson. This is a 10-minute match that sees Kozlov pin Hurricane despite a hard-fought battle. Tiffany is backstage and comes across a lounging William Regal. She says that she's putting Regal on commentary in the main event tonight, but if Regal interferes, she'll strip him of the title and assign a new opponent for Benjamin at TLC to determine a new champion. Regal doesn't like it, but begrudgingly agrees. The next match is Yoshitatsu taking on Paul Burchill. This is a 10-minute match that sees Yoshi pick up the victory. Finally, we come to the main event. Christian and Shelton Benjamin taking on Zack Ryder and Vance Archer. This is a 15-minute match with Regal on commentary. He says that Benjamin doesn't stand a chance of winning at TLC. The end sees Benjamin pin Ryder, and he points at Regal's belt, motioning that it's his come TLC. And finally, I'm looking at December 11th edition of SmackDown. The first match of the night is Eric Escobar taking on Jimmy Wang Yang. This is a solid 10-minute match that sees Eric finally pick up a victory, most likely due to the rage lingering from last week. Then it's backstage with Matt and Teddy Long. Matt apologizes for last week's main event. Teddy seems a little more calm and says there's nothing for Matt to apologize for. He wasn't responsible for Kane's actions. But if you've come here to find out who you're facing tonight, I'm sorry, player, I can't tell you. Matt says he wouldn't expect Teddy to tell him, and says he can't wait to see who he's facing. The next match is Crime Time taking on Mike Knox and Luke Gallows. This is a decent 15-minute match that sees the new tag team go over the established one. Drew McIntyre's backstage with Vicky Guerrero, and while Vicky's worried about him facing Morrison later, McIntyre says not to worry, a win is assured. Vicky warns him that Eric was the same way. Drew gets serious and almost yells, "He's nothing like Escobar." Vicky backs off, and as he walks off, she watches him.